welcome to Catching a Vibe. This is episode 6, the Christmas special. I'm your host, Drew. And I got my boy Smitty, the holiday special guy.
We're back again. We're back and better.
Yeah, glad to have you back on.
Thank you for having me.
So, how was your night last night?
Wild. I'm tired as a sloth. I feel like I just went through a war and I didn't even drink. Crazy. Just a night out in Cleveland. Shenanigans, Christmas bars, pizza. Almost got shot.
Jesus.
Won 120 at casino. Nothing major. That was fire.
Shout out to Jack.
Jack Casino, so fun. We got there at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so strange. The line was so long, but there was also people coming in. They're like, 35 and up, come through here.
35 and up?
Yeah, they were like, come, and we were like in the line. It was like, don't you have to be 21 to get in here?
Yeah.
And we're like, 35 and up. We're like, what does that mean? They had a separate line for people 35 and older to get in. And they weren't even checking their IDs. They were just believing that they were 35 because they had that long of a line.
What was it, bingo night?
I don't even know. But like they weren't even checking them. Like their IDs. They were like, yeah, I'm 35.
Yeah.
Like they came up to us, hey, you 35? Sure.
Yeah.
Get me in there. I'm gonna waste my money. Like, sure, I can't wait to go play the Buffalo machine.
Right.
Far. Yeah, so we finally got in there. Cleveland was just so deep last night. You had the Cavs play at 8 o'clock against the Mavericks. Very popular team with Luka Doncic. And then you had the Browns facing a rival on a Saturday game, night game, against the Ravens. I will say this. Cleveland last night, the vibes were insane.
Yeah.
And I truly think it was because both sports teams won.
Oh, for sure.
The Cavs got a W win against a good team. They won. And then the Browns got a huge win with Deshaun Watson's debut in Cleveland. Everybody was in a really nice mood. Like the strangers on the street.
Yeah.
All coming up. How we doing?
Yeah.
Roo, roo, roo.
Yeah.
Like everybody was going crazy. There was like no one was like catching a bad vibe. We catch vibes on here.
Fact that.
But it was just so fun. Like we were at this one bar. Don't even ask me the name. I don't know. I have no idea. But this random dude comes up to me in a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer sweatshirt, and I'm like, I'm just chilling, and he comes up to me. I forget what he first said. Oh, no. Okay, so this was a club / bar.
Yeah.
And you could go downstairs. Mm-hmm. And we asked like the bouncers, like, hey, could we go downstairs? He's like, sure. There's no bartender down there, and if you guys could just not sit in the booths. So we had like our own little bar / club down there.
Yeah.
Music wasn't too loud. There wasn't flashing lights to give you a headache. It was really vibes, but the restrooms were down there. Uh-huh. So you had some people coming in and out of the restrooms. So this is where this guy came from, the restroom. He came up to me, and he was like, we're going to get a beer down here. And our friend Dylan D. Cope, he was like, let me just hop over. I'll get you a beer. And I was like, Dylan, don't do that. No, don't do that. He was like, and the guy was like, nah, I'm just messing. So he starts talking to me about sports. He said he's from. This is like, guys. Like I try to be like a genuine, nice human. I don't give a fuck about anything this guy. Fuck. I don't care anything about what this guy's saying. But I appreciate his niceness. He was not being mean. He wasn't trying to cause a problem at all. Because when you're out and someone random's talking to you that is under the influence of either drugs or alcohol. Yeah. They could turn into a different human. You don't know what they're trying to do.
They could flip the switch.
Yeah, you're saying the one wrong thing, and then they might want to fight you or like do something. This is a complete stranger in Cleveland. We're talking Cleveland here,
the land.
Yeah, so it was so funny. Our friends Nick and Dylan, they're like, dude, like behind them, they were so funny. They're like, dude, we got Smitty's back if anything goes down. Like true friends, like stuff like that. You gotta love it. But this guy was harmless.
Right.
After like 2 minutes, I was like, he's just drunk guy, just wants to talk. He was telling me about his whole life, guys.
Whole life story.
He told me he's from Boston. Then he moved out to Illinois. He met his wife in Canton, Ohio. he's telling me what he does for a living, his favorite beverages. I asked him what he had for dinner last night. If you guys know me, any of the viewers, I love talking about food.
That's a staple of Smitty.
Yeah, what'd you have for dinner last night? I asked him what he had for dinner. He had sauerkraut, pork, mashed potatoes, if you guys are interested. Guy was so nice, and his name was Lance. Gave him a handshake, told him to go about his night. People like that, I often wonder, are those just like an angel that just needed to talk to me?
Dude, that's funny you say that, because Mike yesterday, before he left, he went to Pittsburgh, and he like knocked on my door, and I was like, "What's up, Mike?" And he's like, "Bro, the craziest thing just happened to me at Sheetz." So Mike went to Sheetz to grab his favorite beer. I forget, it's an IPA, something like that, and it's like at the very top.
Is it Voodoo Ranger?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
So it's at the very top. Mike can't grab it or anything. He's like, shit, like, how am I going to get this?
Mike couldn't grab it?
Yeah.
Dang.
He said, like, 5 seconds later, this tall dude went in there, and he was just looking around. Mike was like, hey, man, like, you're a tall dude. Can you, like, grab this for me? And dude, like, grabbed it. Boom. He just walked out.
Yep, like, little moments like that mean
Didn't get
so
anything.
much.
Just walked in, grabbed it for Mike, and left. And he's like, dude, I think that was an angel. It's like, that probably was, dude.
Dude, there are angels that can appear to you on some spiritual type stuff. Like, for real. Like, I feel like that guy last night, I don't know, his personal life. He told me a lot of things, like where he's from and how he met his wife. But you never know. But, I mean, I really enjoy the conversation with him. You know when you're talking to someone, like a stranger, and you're just like, can they please leave?
Yeah.
Your breath smells like shit. Like, you're drunk. You're annoying.
Right.
This guy, I kind of wish he stayed for a little bit longer.
Uh-huh.
Really, really cool guy. And I also think last night going out, like I said, both teams won. But also, it's the holidays, man.
Right.
Everybody's in a good mood.
Facts.
This is the best time of the year.
Best time.
Oh,
100%.
it's
bro.
it's just the best time of the year. I can't wait for Christmas.
I know. I'm 23. I'm looking forward to Christmas.
Guys, I'm not joking with you. Just thinking about Mary's face, my girlfriend Mary's face, when she opens her gifts, I can't sleep at night. I can't sleep. It's like I'm 8 years old again, where like I gotta wait for my parents to put out the gifts. Me and my brother and I always will remember this. It's 2008. We got an Xbox 360. We're playing SmackDown versus Raw 2008. The whole night we cannot go to bed. It's like 6 a.m. We're like, okay, it's a decent time to wake up the parents.
Right.
Go knock on the door. Get up! Get up! We're so excited for Christmas. And, memories like that will always live on. Because, when you're a kid, it's just, you love getting the gifts. Now that we're older, getting the gifts is fun, but goodness gracious, buying people gifts. And seeing their reactions and just giving. It's
so fire.
It's one of the best feelings ever. I can't even imagine when all the boys have children and how it's gonna go to another level.
Yeah.
Because Christmas is gonna be, you're gonna live through them.
Right.
And get them gifts and just spoil them.
Yeah.
There's just nothing better than Christmas.
There's not.
It's the best.
That is the truth right there. So for this episode, we're going to do our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. We're going to do the most overrated one and the most underrated one. Which do you want to start with?
You know what? Let's go right into the top 5s.
Okay.
Let's go right in.
All right. I'm interested to hear your top 5.
Guys, I highly recommend every one of these films. Anybody watching, if you haven't seen any of these, I'm an old school Christmas movie guy.
Mm-hmm.
Old school. My number one, I actually watched this for the first time, this version.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple remakes. 2 weeks ago, I watched it, A Christmas Carol. It came out in 1938. I've seen the Disney's A Christmas Carol. It doesn't even do it justice.
Doesn't compare.
It doesn't compare. This 1938 vibe, it's just when film started, too.
Right.
It's just seeing Christmas back then. It was also, it seems like back then it was more surrounded by the true meaning of Christmas. Surrounded by God.
Yeah.
Which is really the most important thing, and family. And it was, so it's a movie about this. It's a movie about this man that just hates Christmas. He's a Scrooge.
Yeah.
He hates Christmas. Everything about it. Just doesn't have a loving family. He's a very rich man as well. Very greedy. He pays his workers nothing.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie. I'm a server. So there's a scene in the movie where he goes out to eat. And this is in the 30s. So coins are worth a lot of money. And a cheeseburger back then's a cent.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's a completely different time. And the waiter comes over and gives him back his change. The guy's so, just selfish. He takes the change that the guy gives back to him and bites it to see if it's real. Doesn't leave him a tip, just leaves. Craziness. But the movie's about him realizing how special life is, and how beautiful Christmas is, and how important being nice to people is.
Right.
And the best way to describe that, a lot of my top 5 is movies that make you want to be a better woman, want to be a better man. After I watched that movie, no joke, guys, I looked over to my girlfriend. I was like, that movie made me want to be a better man and want to try harder in life, because it really shows what life is about, what Christmas is about, and just to be a humble person. And I know it's an old movie, guys. If you guys aren't into old movies, I know everybody's not. It's a black and white film. I recommend it. It makes you feel so good inside. So, A Christmas Carol 1938 version.
Fire.
Number 2. It's probably a top 3 favorite movie all time, this number 2. But it's not my favorite. I can't put it as my Christmas movie. We're just talking overall movies, but it is a Christmas movie. It's a Wonderful Life. This movie, again, it just makes me want to be a better man. Mm-hmm. Every time I watch it. So it's about this guy that, so he has an angel. We're speaking of angels. He has an angel come down to Earth to help him. He's just struggling during Christmas.
Yeah.
He owns a bank.
Yeah.
And I believe Bedford Falls. That's the little town, but he's struggling.
Uh-huh.
He's struggling to buy Christmas gifts. He's struggling to give his family a good Christmas, because he always gives handouts at his bank. He doesn't check credit. He's just a good guy that likes people to get what they want, but he's not doing it in probably the most smart way.
Yeah.
So he's on the verge of murking himself. He's on the verge. The angel comes down and he shows him what life is, what life would be with not you existing. Without him. So it's really interesting. He goes throughout the movie and he's like, Harry, Linda, it's me. And you're like, I don't know you. Because the angel is showing him what life would be without him. And life for these people is not good without this man. Yeah. So then he comes back to himself. The angel's like, it's a cool thing. He's trying to earn his wings. The angel's doing his job up in heaven to earn his wings. It's just something so beautiful. Yeah. And he finally realizes, his purpose, and finally gets his family back. Don't have much, but he just appreciates life a little bit more. Yeah. After this whole transition, he gets his bank back. It's just another beautiful story of just never giving up. Even if you don't have a lot, you still have life. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. I'm an old school guy. Number 3 is Miracle on 34th Street, the original. It's just about this one, not as deep, but it's a guy. His name is he's literally Santa Claus, and the court thinks dude, you're not Santa. He doesn't exist. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm Santa Claus. It's hilarious. He was like, they're like, no, what's your real name? He's like, I'm Saint Nick. He's like, oh, where are you from? Yeah. The North Pole. He's like, no, you're not. It's so funny. They're like, no, you're not. Yeah. He's like, yes, I am. So there's this woman in the movie, and her kid like goes to Santa Claus, and like she can't stand Santa Claus because she never got what she wanted as a kid from Santa Claus. And the little girl goes up to him and is like, I'm just here because I'm a kid and that's what I'm supposed to do. And she was like, well, what I really want, if you're real, and what I really want is my parents to get a new house. And he was like, ooh, that's a hard one to get. He was like, you're not Santa Claus then. You can't get my parents a house. So that's like right at the beginning. And there's like a court case, and he ends up being the real Santa Claus. Like the court like believes he's Santa Claus. It's like this whole funny thing because there's people being like, dude, he's not Santa Claus. He just this guy has a good beard. But it ends up like he's like he's actually Santa Claus and he has magic and all that. And it's at the end of the movie, the girl's like, man, he was a very sweet man, but like he didn't get my family the home that we needed. And it ends up like at the end, they got the home. Like this, I forget how it went exactly, but they got the home. It's just a magical movie that makes you feel good, and that's one of those ones that has like Santa Claus in it. Love it. Number 4. This is where the top 3 are just solid.
Right.
Solid. Never change. This is where it gets a little difficult because I'm thinking about Home Alones. I'm thinking about Home Alones, right. And they're so rewatchable. Like when I was last on, I told you I was watching Home Alone.
Right.
Damn. I think I got to go Home Alone 2. I think I like Home Alone 2 a little bit better than 1.
I respect.
I don't know what it is. I just think Joe Pesci, I think Marv and Harry are like at their peak funny.
Yeah.
I love Joe Pesci. Like when I get frustrated, I go like he does that in the movie. It's hilarious. I just think Kevin's really funny.
Right.
The New York vibes are great, and in the first 2, it's like the guy in the first Home Alone. They thought, the guy like salting his pavement. They thought he was like scary,
a killer.
Yeah, I thought he was like a murderer. And he ended up being like a really sweet man. Mm-hmm. And the end of Home Alone 1 is really beautiful with his family coming to see him. I love that. And same thing with the Pigeon Lady. And number 2. And thought she was scary. She's just a really nice woman that wants someone to talk to around the holidays.
Never judge a book by its cover.
For real. Like, so beautiful. But I think I got to go Home Alone 2 at my number 4. Just very special to my childhood. Mm-hmm. And so, like, very rewatchable. And the reason why I'm picking number 2, I like the New York vibe. There's a funny cameo by Donald Trump in his hotel.
Yes.
Classic.
Yes.
So funny to me. So I'm going to go Home Alone 2 at number 4. And number 5, it's Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The Jim Carrey one. Just unbelievable, the acting in it. If I think I'm right on this, but I think Jim Carrey actually got like nominated for like high profile awards for the acting he did in that movie.
I'm sure he did.
It is so. I can't describe how happy I am. Look at the smile. How happy I am talking about that movie. Really interesting story. This was maybe when I was in 6th grade. I was in a church play for the Grinch. I didn't have a big role or anything, you know what I mean? I'm not talented by any means, like, nothing like that. And I was just a Whoville person. I was just a Whoville person, like, coming in and, like, beating up on the Grinch. That was, like, my only thing I had to do was, like, beat up on the Grinch. Yeah. But I just always remember that. That made me like the movie more because, having to go to the practices. Yeah. And just being involved in something like that. And like every time I watch the movie, it brings me back to that time I was playing in the play. Yeah. And, just some of the funniest lines in a movie is
funny.
Is in the Grinch. Like, you're the Grinch. Yeah. I love that part. And like when he's like on his like mountain, he's like, hate. Yeah. Hate. And let's be honest, guys. We all try to be the best versions of ourselves, but we all have those moments.
Oh, absolutely.
We all have those moments, and the Grinch just keeps it 100.
Yeah.
And I had to say, the funniest part in that movie is when he gets invited to go to town, and he's like trying on all the clothes.
Yes.
And he's like, he finally gets one. He's like, ooh, ah,
Yeah.
ooh. And he's like feeling himself. He's like, that's it, I'm not going.
Yeah.
And that part always gets me.
Or when he's like checking his schedule and he's like, nothing. Yeah, I'm not going.
Yeah, and like he says something along the lines. He was like, this solve. He says something like, solve world hunger. Don't tell no one. And then he goes, dinner at 6 with myself. I can't cancel that again.
Yes, that's it.
Oh
That's
my
it.
gosh. Yeah, that movie's so good. So yeah, my top 5, just to recap it. I got not Disney's. I got A Christmas Carol, the 1938 version. It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, the original. They made like 3 other ones.
Mhm.
Hot trailer trash.
Hot trash.
And then number 4, Home Alone 2. Number 5, Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the live action one.
Fireless. So, honorable mention, The Polar Express. I kind of feel like I grew out of it. I'm not that young kid, you know what I mean? So
It doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, I have to shout it out. 5, I have Home Alone. You can't have a top 5 Christmas movie list without Home Alone. It's an icon.
You got to have Home Alone in there.
Oh, absolutely. 4, I have 4 Christmases with Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon. The families are so funny. Jon Favreau when he's like wrestling Vince Vaughn's character. Orlando, the cities that little kid where they go to Vince Vaughn's dad's family and the gifts are like under $10 and Vince Vaughn's character didn't know that and he like gave the oldest son an Xbox. He grabs the dad's gift for the son and he got a flashlight. He just streaks out there and runs away. He's like, no one loves me.
So that 4 Christmases. So Mary and I, we have like a little list of Christmas movies we were trying to get through before Christmas.
Yeah.
And we were looking up trailers for Christmas movies we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And shout out you, last pod, Daddy's Home 2. You recommended that. We watched Daddy's Home 2.
Uh-huh.
And we really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was fire. But we watched the 4 Christmases trailer, and we both thought like, hey, this looks really good, but we already had so many movies on the list. Mm-hmm. But just for you putting it at number 4, Mary and I have to get that a watch.
You will not be disappointed by it.
I love Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite actors too, so I had to shout out the boy.
Dude's a legend.
3, I got The Grinch. Jim Carrey just stole the show, stole Christmas also.
Yep.
But he was just so funny in that. I love when they're doing the sack race, and it's like the slow-mo. He's just jumping around, just pushing the kids, and he finishes like the jump.
Dude, I forgot about that. There's so many parts in that movie.
He's like, I want, just screaming.
Just beating up on little kids, and he doesn't care.
Goated. And when they're like shoving like food down his mouth, he's like, that's all you got? Just choking on it.
They put him up on like the Roman Empire pedestal. They're like carrying him around.
He's just like the boss that he is, just chilling.
Man, yes.
Number 2, I got Elf. I mean, that was just a staple of every Christmas. So, like, I think it was like middle school to like maybe like freshman year, high school, whatever. Like, every Christmas Eve, I had to finish with these 3 movies before I could go to bed. Elf, Christmas Vacation, The Grinch.
Perfect.
Every time.
What a triple feature.
Yes. Goated. Then number 1, I got Christmas Vacation. Clark Griswold, the family, Uncle Eddie, just so good at the office scene where he's like, Merry Christmas to you, kiss his ass, kiss your, just goated.
That movie, I think of my dad with that movie because I would say, I don't know for sure, but I say that's his favorite.
Yeah.
That movie, it just brings you back. It puts you in a good mood. It's a movie, there's nothing serious about it.
Yeah.
It's just pure comedy, but it gets you in the Christmas mood.
Right.
It's like a raunchy Christmas, just comedy.
The late scene where like he can't get it to work and it's just slow-mo when he finally got it.
The Christmas tree scenes, just so funny to me.
When he's looking like Jason, right?
Yes. The chainsaw.
And the neighbor's like, what are you going to do with that tree, Griswold? And he's like, bend over and I'll show you.
Yeah, bend over and I'll show you. And
he's like, you got a lot of nerve, pal. And he's like, I wasn't talking to you. Talking to his girlfriend. Yeah, the neighbors were underrated how like they were so anti-Christmas. Then
Right.
when they're eating dinner, and they're like, "Don't you feel bad we didn't get a Christmas tree?" And 5 seconds later, that's Clark when he takes a Christmas tree, breaks the window.
Oh man, that movie! I love that scene. Like bend over and I'll show you. I forgot
Yes.
about that scene. That's like
Yes.
out in the. He was like out in the park, out in the driveway.
Yes.
Man, that's so funny. Yeah, I want to ask,
Go ahead.
what's your thoughts on A Christmas Story?
I really like it. Did you see the second one?
No, I haven't.
I liked it because it was a little twist on the first one where like it shows like how stressful like Christmas could be for like parents because like all these kids are like, oh, I want like the best Christmas. I want all the gifts I want. Like how stressful that could be. And it was
Right.
like,
You know, because nowadays, goodness googly, nowadays everything's expensive.
right.
Consoles,
Everything,
like, dude, you think about getting a console. That's, the new Xbox. What? It's like $500.
Yeah.
Insane.
I just remember too being a kid like I just want Nike shirts or like the big
Yeah,
brands.
yeah, like Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, like anything. I don't know if you guys been to Dick's Sporting Goods lately.
Dude, it's $1,000 for a Nike sweatshirt.
Like, it's crazy the prices.
Yeah.
And I'm by no means a cheap guy,
Right.
but I am a guy that goes for deals.
Right.
Like when I know I can go to Marshalls and TJ Maxx to get the same damn hoodie
Yes.
for $30 cheaper,
Yes.
I'll take the extra 2 seconds to drive over there.
100%.
But yeah, like I was, getting some Christmas gifts at Dick's, and the prices are just insane to me. Like
Oh,
they're,
yeah,
I mean,
they are.
they're selling joggers in there for like $120.
Right.
It's like, come on, guys.
That should be illegal.
Like $120 for like, how are people supposed to eat nowadays in the world?
Right.
Thank goodness gas is going down.
Yeah.
I mean,
For real.
gas is under $3.
Yeah, it's nice.
I gotta say, like, it does show some class in the world right now that they're putting the gas prices down because they know people are going to be traveling for Christmas to see their families.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's fortunate enough to freaking put $70 in their gas tank to keep driving. Say you have to drive 4 hours, you might have to fill it twice.
Yeah.
So that's good to see that. But goodness, Dick's Sporting Goods, $120 for a pair of joggers.
They're naughty this year.
Yeah, they're getting cold.
Yeah, they should.
They're robbing people.
Right.
Goodness gracious. All right, bub, let's go.
So, what's the most overrated Christmas movie in your opinion?
In my opinion, this is the toughest question of the day. This is the toughest question of the day because I look at overrated as popularity.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that it's a bad movie.
It's
just
where
that
I'm going with it.
It's just that everybody loves it. Even in the movie, I like these movies.
Yeah.
It's just that the world overrates it, and I do think there is better.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I gotta pick one, eh? Man.
Yeah.
Do you have yours?
I have mine.
Let's hear yours.
Tim Allen, the Santa Claus. I hate to say it because it was a good movie as a kid, but like, it shouldn't be like a top 5 list. You know what I mean? Some people have it as a top 5 Christmas movie.
Man.
Which I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be near the top of the list.
I never got into them.
Yeah.
Tried to watch it a few days ago, actually. I think it was the Santa Claus 3 with Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Tried to watch it. I couldn't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a solid pick because a lot of people do like those. They're always on cable TV.
Yes.
They're always showing them. Man, this is really tough for me. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I think it has to be number one. For the popularity, it's a lot of people's favorite, and we are from Ohio here. This podcast is out of Ohio. It was filmed in Cleveland. A Christmas Story. I think A Christmas Story is the most overrated Christmas movie of all time.
Yeah.
Although I do think it is, I'm not going to say it's a great movie. I do think it is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me Christmas vibes. It doesn't make me feel warm though.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel like I
Yeah.
want to get cozy and I want to get all cuddled up, get some hot chocolate. Like it doesn't doesn't make me want to do that.
No, I just remembered. You know how the kid like puts his tongue on the frozen pole?
Mhm.
Do you remember Britton Poland did that
In middle school? Oh my gosh, that dude Britton Poland went to middle school with this kid that did the scene from A Christmas Story and got his tongue stuck to a pole. Wow, that's deep in the archives.
Yes.
I do remember. It was like a whole thing too.
Yes, I think he was out there like majority of the day.
Did they? How'd they get him? Did they get hot water or something?
Yeah, hot water. I think. I just
Wow.
remember like being English class and I could like see out the window he was stuck.
Wow, straight out of A Christmas Story, and it's iconic too. There's so many like that influence kids to do that.
Right.
I just saw a. I forget what phone brand it was, but I just saw a commercial that was redoing the scene, and it's just iconic. Right. Also, like, don't shoot your eye out with a BB gun. I see those. I see people wearing those shirts in July.
Yes.
I see people wearing those shirts all the time, and it is cool. We're from Ohio, so that movie was filmed in Ohio and Cleveland. The house is actually in Cleveland. The Christmas Story house. They're selling it. I don't know if it's been sold, but you can actually go there and walk through it. It's like a museum.
Yeah.
Haven't done it yet.
Cool.
Haven't done it yet, but that's just a little fact about Ohio. I'm gonna have to go with The Christmas Story, and I'm sticking to it.
I respect it. So now, what's the most underrated Christmas movie?
I got mine right off rip.
What is it?
You know, it's Jingle All the Way.
Fire pick.
It's Jingle All the Way.
That or the Lamb, I'm going to say.
I'm going Jingle All the Way. I think the movie is, again, it's a movie, I would just say like a fast food movie. It's one that you just like, you're eating fast food, you're having fun. It's not a serious movie.
Right. You cannot take it serious.
You're just watching it.
Yeah.
It's literally just about Arnold, like
being that parent that waited till the last second to get the hottest toy out.
Get the hottest toy out. He can't find it. He has to do so much shady stuff. Has to get in all these situations, and he's just trying so hard to get the toy. He, discovers a guy, a mailman. I forget his name, but he's like kind of a villain to him, and they become friends. And he's trying to find the toy for his son as well. It's just two fathers that getting busy in life. Last minute shopping, but they're still trying to make their kids happy with a gift.
Right.
And it's just hilarious. It makes me feel good.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me feel good. It's one of those Christmas movies that, again, brings me back to my childhood. I'm going to go Jingle All the Way.
Respect that. Mine, I went Fred Claus. I'm a big Vince Vaughn. I love that movie. I just watched it recently. Like, I think it was so cool how they had Fred. He was always his parents always compared him to his brother. He started to hate his brother. And the end where they had their big fight, Fred comes in clutch, delivers all the gifts to the kids, and I don't know, that was just so wholesome, honestly. The ending. That made me feel warm.
Drew, you're helping me out a lot today with remembering things.
Yeah.
That movie, that's an underrated one.
I
That's
love
a
that one.
Great pick.
Yes. And the scene where Fred just started working and they just keep playing the same song over and over, and he's like, DJ, can we change the song here? Then he locks up the DJ and they're doing the Elvis song, and he's just Vince Vaughn's dancing with all the elves and stuff.
Yeah, that movie's goated. I watched that actually later on in my life, maybe 3 years ago. Again, I think I just watched that movie because Vince Vaughn was in. I gave it a try just because Vince Vaughn.
Right.
You know when you're watching a movie and I'm not too into it, but hey, so-and-so's in it.
Right.
I'm going to give it a try.
And I love the one quote Vince Vaughn says in the movie, there's not bad people, just some people have had hard times in life.
Yep.
Everyone deserves a gift on Christmas.
Yep. I agree with that. I always go with the mindset, because right now in my life I work in customer service. I always just go with the mindset of if the customer is rude to me, I try to keep it strong. I think it's a fairly strong mentality, and I would say it's hard to break me mentally.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell like a little story about that. This was around Christmas time. This was a couple years ago, and this guy came in. I'm not going to say any names or anything, but he always came in, and his order was always 10 boneless wild wings and French fries. Got it every time.
Yeah.
He came in, was always so rude.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to give like new workers warnings on him. Like when he comes in, don't get upset. Don't say anything bad. It's not worth your job.
Right.
Like he will come in and he's not a pleasant guy. He's very rude. He never tips.
Mm-hmm.
So it was God speaking to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I try to always be nice to all my customers. I don't like to treat anybody different.
Yeah.
I want to give everybody the best experience ever, as possible as I can at a restaurant. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take it up to learn this guy's name. I'm gonna, give him an extra ranch, give him extra blue cheese, give him a free drink here and there, just something. Guy has been coming in consistently on Thursdays for years. He comes in now. We know each other on a first name basis. He tips every time now. Not just me, everybody. He's so much more of a humble guy. And a couple months ago, he actually told me that I changed his life in a way.
That's so awesome.
For
awesome.
Just me knowing his name, taking care of him, him being nice, me being nice to him, and then he learned to give it back.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, I don't know anything about his life except his first name and his Buffalo Wild Wings order.
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything else about it. I just want you to be okay and know when you come in here that you're going to get good service and that we're going to hook you up.
Yeah.
But he told me, this is probably like 6 months ago, like, coming in here, like, I really enjoy it, and, like, you changed my perspective on life. And, like, he told me I never used to tip.
Yeah.
He tips $2. It's $2. It doesn't matter. Like, just be nice to people. You never know what's happening in their life. If they're being rude to you, who knows? Their mom, their dad, someone could have passed away that day.
Right.
Something bad could have happened that day, and maybe maybe that's not who they are all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't give up on people. Just always try your hardest to be nice. Don't cause no issues.
Right.
I had a lady. I'm a server, but sometimes I have to do takeout when we're short staffed. I had this lady come in just this past week, and her bill was like $10 on a takeout, and she. It's just one of those moments that will just always. I'll never forget these type of moments. She hands me $1, and I was like, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate that tip. It means a lot because when people tip, not everybody tips on takeout. I don't think people know that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like the cook's still making your food, and the person working is still bagging up your food, preparing it for you.
Right. And
she was like, "It's only $1."
Yeah.
And I was like, everything counts.
Yeah.
She was like, wow, like, you're right. She was like, here's another $5. Like, cause she was so happy that I said that. I was like, no. I was like, you keep your money. I said, your presence is enough for me. She was like, you just made my day. Guys, no lie after this. I got a $100 tip from someone at my table. Wow. Guys, it was one person. I'd never seen the guy before. I've been working at Buffalo Wild Wings for a little while. Love working there, and there's a lot of regulars that come up in there. Know him first name basis. I've never seen this guy before in my life. I work 5 days a week, guys, 40 hours. I've never seen this guy in my life. He only got pretzel knots. It's like $7.99. He gave me $100. Merry Christmas. Have a great day.
There's angels out there, dude.
Like that's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah.
$100 and your bill was $7.99.
Yeah.
You know what? You just out there, even when it's the hardest to be nice, that's when the good things are going to happen to you.
That is a fact.
When it's the hardest to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
When it's the hardest to be happy too. Yeah. After that, that's when the good things start happening. You just got to pass it.
Right. It's God testing you.
That's all it is. It's classroom.
Fire. So, what's your question for me? You text me because I text Mike and I was like, hey, what do you want to talk about? Do you have a question we can talk about?
I came up with this question. I think it's a good question. It actually made me think on the way to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Like it made me think. I didn't even have my answer.
Yeah.
But the question is, I want to ask, what is the most meaningful / special gift you've ever received? It could be your parents, your brother, your grandma, anybody. Just what's a gift that really stands out to you that was just special? Maybe you wore it a lot. It was that comfy. Maybe you played a lot, or it was just, it don't matter. Just something that was special to you, meaningful.
It's funny you like say this because 2020 was like the hardest year of my life. Like I was just struggling, like depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Like I've never had panic attacks in my life till 2020. Like every day was a fear I'm going to die. Like I deserve to go to hell. I don't know what happened, but just happened to me. So I'm just like I'm freaking out. So I was just having panic attacks like 4 or 5 times a week.
One of the worst feelings in the world. It's if you guys never had panic attacks, I don't want you guys to ever have them. They are one of the worst things ever. They are the closest thing to dying, but not dying.
Mm-hmm.
They trick your mind. Like they don't even hurt you.
Yeah.
It's just your mind telling you that you're in danger. Yeah. They do no harm to you.
Right.
It's just that you literally feel like you're about to have a heart attack.
Yeah. Like I would literally be like at my house in my bed. And I'm just like I'm going to die tonight. Yep. And there was many nights I could not sleep because I'm scared like I'm gonna wake up in hell. Mm-hmm. So Christmas Eve was like my worst one. I was just like, Mom, I'm like, it sucked because like Christmas was always my favorite holiday. And I was just like, Mom, like, I'm losing myself. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I can't do this the rest of my life. So I was like, just like, calm down. You're going to be fine. So I took a bath. And I was like, if there is a God, please, like, take this away from me. Like, I promise will believe in you for the rest of my life. And I swear to God, like, I closed my eyes and I feel like I saw Jesus. And it's like, I'm going to be all right. Then, like, the next week, I went to church for the first time in 10 years. And, like, something just, like, snapped. Mm-hmm. I was like, I felt like a spark all through my body. I was like, yeah, like, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to God. Like, I'm going to do this. Not for me anymore. I'm not going to be ungrateful. Like, every night since December 24th, 2020, I write everything I'm grateful for in this life. And, like, I promise that has, like, helped me. I believe I'm a better person now. That's why I'm doing this. I want to, like, speak out. Because, like, some people are nervous to speak out about their troubles.
Oh, for sure. It's the best way. The best way to relieve stress, your troubles, is to talk about it.
Yeah.
If you let that just bottle up inside your system, that's what causes the anxiety attacks.
Right.
Anxiety is one of the most devilish things on earth because it never happens to you when you're having the anxiety. Yes. It happens to you when you're happiest, and then it hits you. And the thing about anxiety is it's just such an effed up game. Like when you have a panic attack, you recover from it, you get up, you start moving, you get some ice, you take a drink of water, you're done crying, whatever happens.
Yes.
Then you're worried about, all your mind can think about is having another one.
Yes.
And then you trick your mind into, I'm not okay, and then you have another one. Mm-hmm. Guys, if any of you guys are suffering from anxiety attacks, I've had anxiety since I was very young.
Right.
My whole life I've dealt with it. And the best thing, this helps me, I don't know if it'll help you, is just, it may sound cheesy, but just to talk to yourself inside your head, like, I'm the fucking man.
Yeah, I'm him.
You got, and if any females, I'm her.
I'm her.
Like, you have to talk up yourself, because us people that have anxiety, we always think lowly of ourselves. We always think we're not good enough.
Yes. Like, I would always question myself, like, did I make the wrong mistake here? Like, I had no inner peace, dude. Yeah. And that's all I prayed for now. Like,
You're meeting someone. You're
Yes.
scared to tell them what you do because it may
Yes.
not be better than them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't. Well, that guy's more handsome than me.
Right.
You know, it could be that guy has a better outfit than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy can tip better than me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all these little insecurities that truly, at the end of the day, don't mean anything.
Right.
But you know, it's easier said than done. They're hard to deal with. They're hard to deal with from different people, different levels of it. But I'll tell you my first anxiety story. You know, to talk about yours. Yours was in 2020, like
Yeah.
right at the end of 2020.
Yeah.
I always worried as a kid, but so mine was like just 16 years of bottled up anxiety and stress. I've had a weird life, guys. If you guys know me, you know, but you know, dealt with, you know, just, you know, a lot of stuff. Mom, dad, jail, prison, all that stuff. My brother was a drug addict, recovered, has a beautiful wife, beautiful family. My mom and dad have never been better. I mean, they're getting along so well. It's literally blessings from God.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of worry in my life. I mean, you guys got to think about this. I'm an 8-year-old kid. I open the door to my house. It's 2 police officers taking my mom away from me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've seen that as a young man. Like, you know, what the hell? I'm 8 years old. My mom's getting taken away from me. My dad works 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was 16, and it was a Monday, and we were in high school still. And I remember getting to school, and I was in computer class. I think his name was Mr. Lasivita.
Yeah.
I was in computer class, and I was sitting next to Nikki Dorsey, Justice Castrolo, and this girl named Emma. And we always were vibing, always talking. And I started feeling it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just felt off.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is totally different. I go home. I don't tell my mom and dad anything. I'm that type of guy. Like,
yeah.
I try to tough it out, see what's going on.
Same here.
So, you know, I get home and eat some food, go to bed. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep this off.
Yeah.
I wake up the next morning, go to school. Same thing. I'm feeling this. I'm like, damn, like, this is not fun, dude. Like, what is going on? I'm 16.
Right.
So Wednesday, same thing. I wake up, same thing's going on. I get home from school. I was like, you know what? Let me turn on a movie that makes me happy. I turn on Deadpool. With Ryan Reynolds. I was like, you know, I was laughing.
This should do it.
I was like, this should do it. Nah, nothing. So my dad was like, I'm starving. I was like, yeah, I could eat too. And he was like, you want to go get grinders? So I was like, yeah, that sounds flame. So we ordered takeout, and I was riding with my dad. And we're at an alliance. We're at a red light, and there's a Walgreens. There's a Walgreens on the left side, and the hospital's on the right side in our town.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had my hand out the window. It was kind of a warm day, and I couldn't talk. I like just pointed to the hospital, and I'm just so happy my dad knew what I was like doing. Like, but my chest, my whole body, from my feet up into my whole head, just top to bottom, tightened up. My whole body tightened up, and it truly felt like I could breathe, but I couldn't breathe. It felt like it was restricted.
Yeah.
And all I remember was I was freaking out.